Hello, adventurer. It's good to see you. You have made it to the morning grind.
Welcome, welcome.
It's the live stream at the beginning of the Geekverse, where we talk about all types of topics in geekdom, gaming, and fantasy, with an emphasis on being constructive and creating the things that we want to exist in the world.
It's all on the grind, Sizemore. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
That's exactly right. There are a lot of adventures to be had today. Dungeons to explore and monsters to slay, and who knows what a random encounter might send our way. That's why we have to prepare, so settle in now for the morning grind with your favorite beverage in hand.
Tea? Or maybe something a little stronger. I've got a few bottles of the old Wynyard left.
Whatever you want. Pull up a chair.
Dude.
If you're feeling fancy, how about a cappuccino? Or a frappuccino? Or how about an espresso?
Just tea, thank you.
Sounds good to me, Gandalf. Whatever you want. I'm just glad you're here.
Everyone is welcome. You can just watch if you want. You don't have to worship anything you don't want to worship.
Thank you, Mike. But be forewarned.
Sometimes we get really strange characters around here.
Wait, what's that you say? Why can't you come and be a part of the stream?
My wife would disown me.
Oh no, I bet she'll be fine with it. Come on in.
Am I scared for my safety? No.
What are we supposed to do?
Everybody do the secret handshake.
Secret cultist handshake.
Oh, now do wizards who love each other.
This, my friend, is a science.
I still don't have gills, but it's fine.
It's all on the grind, son. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
Dude, this would be a sick place to bring the band.
Indeed it would be, Dave. It really would. I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Oh, look, here's someone new.
Is this the cultist meetup?
Yes it is.
Come to hang out? Please accept me. I have nothing else.
Okay, we accept you. Everyone's welcome here.
Brought some snacks.
Well, that makes things even better.
You want some coffee?
I don't drink coffee.
You sure? It's cultist coffee.
What makes it cultist coffee?
I'm a cultist and I'm drinking it.
Oh. Then I'll have some.
What exactly is going on here?
I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome, welcome. It's so great to have you. Oh, and look, here comes another stranger.
Can we help you?
Yes, fellow cultists. I could really use some food.
Oh yeah? Welcome. We have donuts.
Oh, it's me. I'm glad I'm here. I'm sure you have a few questions for me, though.
What's your name? Who do you work for? What god do you worship?
Great questions, Rob.
I'm Steve King, and I worship Nyarlathotep.
No, not really. I'm just Heath, and I won't be worshiping anything this morning. But I will be your host. Welcome to the office. We're going to have a great time. I've got my coffee ready, because now it's time for the morning grind.
If you could become a fish, that would be amazing. Then I could command you with my mental fish powers.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to see you this morning. Welcome to my home. Welcome to the office. Welcome to the morning grind. Crisis averted. I've got coffee this morning. My coffee maker, I went to make coffee this morning and I realized, I went back to get some and it wasn't working because my coffee maker was unplugged for some reason. I have no idea why. But got it plugged back in and got coffee this morning. So let's take a sip. All right. I hope everybody is doing well. I was working yesterday trying to get things done. Lots of stuff to just plow through, it seems like. That is slow going, especially building out websites. Hey, Robert, I was actually watching some of your, you posted the link to your preview of your text game, The Children of the Grave, and I was watching some of that yesterday as I was working. So let's see. Good morning. Let's see. Good morning, Jason. Good morning, Charlie. Good morning. Good morning, Zero the Blade. Good morning. Let's see. Today, I thought we would continue looking at the ruins of Eriador and just seeing what the rest of the material kind of was in this book, and then also a little bit to see at least see what the Tales of Eriador is. which is supposed to be an adventure book. We won't go into deep spoilers or anything, but we'll just see what the book is like and about. But also yesterday, I had another Kickstarter show up. I got Shadow Dark. So might look at this tomorrow. I know that on Saturdays we're often a bit light because Saturdays people have things to do. But maybe tomorrow on Sunday, that'd be Sunday. Yeah, tomorrow should be Sunday. We might take a look at Shadow Dark. Anybody get their Shadow Dark stuff in? It looks like this must be the GM screen. I got a GM screen. I got a Shadow Dark book here. And I got, I guess, some extra monsters or something here. So I did get that. Those showed up at my door yesterday. So we will have to take a look at those soon. Let's see. What else is going on? Well, what else is there to talk about? I don't have my screen share up right now. But let's see. Oh, Zero the Blade also says got mine yesterday. So she did a great job getting those out. They must have been ready to go. I mean, like the files and stuff. So it must have just been manufacturing, which is great. Which is the way I like to run Kickstarter. Sometimes it's not possible. But if possible, I like to have all of the files ready to go. Yeah, I might look at this yesterday. I like to have the files ready to go if possible. And then basically it's just manufacturing and then freighting and then shipping. So that worked very well. All right. So let's see. I guess I can. Let's see. We got let's see. We're gonna do Terminator 2. Was I working? Had I made up the thumbnails yesterday? I can't remember. But at any rate, Terminator 2. Oh yeah, I think so. Because Terminator 2 with Retro Nerd Girl is going to be Tuesday. And then also I am replaying. So let me bring this up. Here we go. On the Table Talk channel. So Terminator 2, Judgment Day. That's going to be fun. Oh, the AI game video got into the algorithm too. Channels moving. Excellent. Excellent. I'm so glad to hear it, Robert. T2 discussion. I've got to think about, I want to do 100 Table Talk episodes. That will be, I don't have a number on that. That Terminator 2 will be like episode 77 or 78 or something. I would like to reach out to some other people in the gaming community and have them on Table Talk. Gaming and creative community for between now and 100 episodes. But Retro Nerd Girl is going to be here on Tuesday. All right. I'm going to take that down. Let's do our reading this morning. Let's do our breathe and sip and then our reading, and then we'll see what the rest of Tales of Eriador is. Here is Turning Pro by Stephen Pressfield. I've got my coffee this morning. Fish do not drink tea mug, so feeling very cultist-like this morning. Let's go ahead and do 2 deep breaths. Do it with me. Deep inhale, complete exhale, and then take a sip of your favorite beverage this morning. And then we will seek inspiration in the words of Stephen Pressfield. Here we go. And sip. All right, there we go. The amateur lacks compassion for himself. In his heart, the amateur knows he's hiding. He knows he was meant for better things. He knows he has turned away from his higher nature. If the amateur had empathy for himself, he could look in the mirror and not hate what he sees. Achieving this compassion is the first powerful step toward moving from being an amateur to being a pro. The amateur seeks permission. The amateur believes that before she can act, she must receive permission from some omnipotent creator, omnipotent other, a lover or a spouse, a parent, a boss, a figure in authority. The amateur sits on a stool like Lana Turner at Schwab's, waiting to be discovered. You can't wait. You got to go out there and do something. All right, let's see what's in the rest of this Tales of Eriador box. It's gotten cold here. And I'm thinking that it might be a good time to pretend like I am at a, like maybe 2 weeks for the new year. A long time, pretending like I am in a cabin for the winter, getting work done, maybe 2 weeks or something. I'm trying to decide if I'm going out for New Year's or not. I mean, if I go out, I'm talking about going out with like play games with family or not. Maybe I should, but then maybe be a hermit for 2 weeks or something. Try to get a bunch of writing and stuff done. Get 2024 off right. I did get a new keyboard in, so I can actually type. All right, here we go. Tales from Eriador. Okay, so this one is the adventure book. This one right here, The Ruins of Eriador, is the world book. So we had just gotten to landmarks, and I kind of wanted to look at this section especially just because I like sites that can be dropped into adventures. And so this is landmarks here. Chapter 3, landmarks. Long was the way that fate bore them, o'er stony mountains cold and gray, through the hall of iron and darking door, and wood of nightshade morrowless. All right, let's see what this is. It says the 12 landmarks contained in this chapter are described using the structure presented in the appendix of the Lord of the Rings role-playing. See page 220. As discussed there, the chosen format allows the lore master to use each landmark as an open-ended, self-contained scenario, okay, which I like, free of strict, predetermined plot, articulated in orderly scenes. The player heroes learn the existence of landmarks during the game, for example, by choosing the Gather Rumors Fellowship phase undertaking. So, like, the Fellowship phase was something that was included in the One Ring, but it also got imported into, I think the One Ring came first, into the 5e version. I mean, this is the 5e version, although other than the NPC stats, as we found out, there isn't a whole lot of game stats in this book, so it'll probably work for whichever one. Of course, I suppose if you wanted the One Ring, I guess it's published for the One Ring as well. Can anybody in the comments confirm that? Did this get published as a One Ring book as well? I would guess it did. So it'd be nice to have, if you're playing the One Ring, it would be nice to have the One Ring stats. But maybe once you, I don't know the system well enough yet at all, but I suppose once you know the system well enough, you might be able to just wing it if you have 5th edition stats. But it says the text of each landmark assumes the lore master will adjudicate all actions taken by the company using both the rules for 5e and the core rules for the Lord of the Rings role-playing. This means the rules for journeys and country and councils are not repeated, nor those for 5e. Whenever the text of landmarks describes a challenge or an obstacle to the company, the lore master should adjudicate the circumstances based on appropriate game rules. Okay, Charlie confirms that. I must have just made a mistake and bought the 5e version, or clicked the 5e version in Pledge Manager or something like that. Okay, so, you know, I like, you know, in like AD&D, there was something called adventure sites that did that kind of thing. So this says, okay, the old dwarf mines, and this one does say 5th to 6th level, the old dwarf mines. Let him not vow to walk in the dark, who has not seen the nightfall. Rumor, there's an old dwarf mine in the Blue Hills. And there are a lot of dwarf mines in these parts. All the old hills round are riddled with them like a wormy apple. The point is, this mine's special. The king of olden times once hid here with all his jewels and treasure. Now this king was pursued by a fearsome beast out of Angmar, and it said that the only way he could slay it was by putting his biggest jewel down his throat to choke on it. The way he could slay it? Now that he was a fearsome beast out of Angmar, but the rest of the treasure is still there for the taking, if you can find it. So that's the rumor. So this is the Old Dwarf Mine. Now, we did go over here. We found out that this was the same map. And I guess in some ways that makes sense this is the same map because a lot of this game apparently takes place over this region of Middle-earth. So the Old Dwarf Mine is number 1. Oh, this is way up here. So the Old Dwarf Mine is number 1. So that's where we are. This does make me want to adventure in Middle-earth. Hey, PH. Good morning. Thank you. Glad you can drop in. Drive safe. So we have Old Lore DC20. Arvidui. See, Arvedui. Some of these words I'm not going to be good at pronouncing. But Arvidui, maybe, was the last king of Arthedain. In his days, the armies of the Witch King of Angmar destroyed Fort Noster-Rain, with Arvidui and his followers were forced to flee. They took with them such treasures as they could carry on horseback, for they were sorely pursued by their foes. They took refuge in an abandoned dwarf mine called Scowl Hill, and they hid until hunger drove them forth. It is said that to lighten his load, King Arvidui left certain lesser treasures behind in the mines, intending to return for them one day. But Arvidui perished, and the treasures of Scowl Hill have never been found. So we've got background on the mines, locations, which includes, does this have a map? Oh, yeah, it does. Okay, so it does have a map. So we've got, can you see this? Hey, Vision. Good morning, Vision. So here is the map here. Southern mines, northern mines. Ruins. Okay, 1. So 1, we're coded. That's the Scowl Gate. Oh, this southern mines is like a labyrinth. A portion of the mines is a labyrinth. Unlike the fabled mines of Moria, which were expanded into a grand city with wide boulevards and vaulted halls, these mines were purely functional. There is no halls here, no magnificent underground chamber, just endless narrow tunnels worming into the hillside. They are also dwarf height too, so a tall man must stoop to pass this way. Exploring the southern mines. The mines are ancient. The shifting of the earth has caused some passages to collapse and others have flooded. What kind of ruins are outside? Let's see. Journey events. Let's see what it says about this. The company may obtain information about the precise location of the mines in several ways. Here are 2 examples. Stealing from thieves. The player heroes capture a brigand named Ned in the Hedge as they travel along the Eriador, and the brigand wields a fine sword of ancient make. When questioned, the brigand says that he found the sword in a cave in the far north. An old mine, he thinks. The cave floor was strewn with bones and stank of some bear or other beast, so he fled with his prize before the monster returned. But he thinks there may have been other treasures in the cave. Why, in exchange for his freedom, Ned will lead the company north to that cave so they can find their own ancient swords. And also, rumor of the beast. Although it spends most of its time asleep, occasional hunger awakens the beast of Angmar, see page 60, and finding no prey in the vicinity of Scowl Hill, it prowls south, troubling the dwarves of the Blue Mountains before returning to the mines. The player heroes may encounter one or more dwarves bent on tracking the beast to its lair and slaying it. This is an opportunity for the company to gain more information and help deal with the treasure. Hey, 7x7. Good to see you. So we've got a map with key here. The stats for the beast. Schemes and trouble. Oh, hey, Lynn. Oh, I hate having car issues. Car issues suck. It's cold in here. I got the heater going. My coffee's already going cold. The White Towers, any level. 3 white towers of immemorial age are still to be seen on the tower hills beyond the western marches. They shone far off in the moonlight. The tallest was furthest away, standing alone upon a green mound. All right, let's see where the White Towers are. This is 2. Oh, right here. So this is near the Grey Havens. Grey Havens over here. So here are the White Towers. For reference, the Shire is right here. Hobbiton's right there. So what's our rumor about these? Rumor: 3 ancient elf towers rise from the hills beyond the Shire's western marches. Their luminous construction radiating moonlight, visible from distant leagues. The westernmost tower is the tallest still, and it's said that that one can see the sea from its top. No hobbit has ever been known to climb the towers, but elves sometimes visit, disappearing through the White Towers doors. So we got 3 towers on 3 hills here. Oh, well, that may be why I ended up with this particular rule set, because Charlie says Free League's website says I'm wrong. Ruins of Eriador is for 5e, not the One Ring, at least for now. Huh. Well, hope somebody will do some conversions, at least online, I would think. So the old lore, DC 15. The White Towers are thousands of years old, built by the elven High King Gil-galad as a gift for Elendil, the first king of Arnor. Elendil chose the westernmost tower, Elostrion, to house one of the legendary seeing stones he rescued from the fall of Numenor. The Palantir still resides in the tower, one of the few not lost to the passing of ages, though its visions always track westwards. Elves of Lindon visit the White Tower to glimpse the paradise awaiting them in the Undying Lands. Oh, hey, good morning, Stray. Good morning. Good to see you. And Moonswan, good morning. Good morning. You know, this does make me really want to adventure in Middle-earth. Does anybody remember Palantir Quest? We were talking about the MERP supplement yesterday. Or not the MERP supplement, but the whole MERP game, which I've got over there. And I always really, really wanted to play. Got a frog in my throat this morning. I always really wanted to play the Palantir Quest. And I was going to adjust it some, but the Palantir Quest was a adventure designed for Iron Crown Enterprises second edition MERP. And I liked it in general because it was a whole adventure based on a journey across Middle-earth. And if you are into Lord of the Rings, one of the things you might want to do is play an adventure when you're going to take a journey across all of Middle-earth. And the Palantir Quest did that. Now, I still think I would change a few things in it, especially today, to kind of invoke a better feel of Middle-earth, because maybe some of the things you do in it isn't quite right. But it was a quest. Obviously, I'm not spoiling anything because it's the Palantir Quest, finding one of the Palantir, and it takes place just after Aragorn becomes king of Gondor. And they find out, like in the very beginning, they find out that they think that another one of the Palantirs has washed up, and they send the heroes to go and find the Palantir. I always thought that was really cool. Because you get to play in the Fourth Age, but it's still very much, Middle Earth. You're still dealing with orcs and evil, even though Sauron has just fallen. And in that case, King Elisar gets to be your patron. And I also remember a fantastic adventure I was reading that somebody went on that was, I think, set in this time period, but it was with the Decipher role-playing game. I've got... Yeah. Did anybody have this one? I was actually a pretty big proponent of this one. The Decipher role-playing game. Of course, it looks beautiful because they used... This was just after the Fellowship of the Ring came out, and they used all of the stills from the movie. Oh, look, I turned to a place where they used the same still twice. They used the still from the movies, or from... Actually, it's just from the Fellowship of the Ring. And at the time, I was big into this game, or big proponent of this game. Spent a lot of time on the Decipher forums, and was reading a game that people were playing using that set over there, dealing with Mirkwood and the Iron Hills during the time of this time between The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. It may have been pushed a bit toward Lord of the Rings because I think there was a Nazgul in it, and man, I thought that was a great adventure too that I was reading. So there are such great adventures to be had in Middle Earth. Okay, so reasons to visit Elistarion. Simply hearing rumors about the White Towers might not be enough to motivate a company to visit. Here follows some possible hooks the lore master might use based on the current circumstances of the player heroes and their aims. The elves believe in secrecy, and in any case, they don't possess the strength to maintain a garrison to protect the towers beside a single custodian. So a company may be asked to protect the White Towers if they are believed to be in danger. A patron may instruct the player heroes to consult the Palantir or to peruse the extensive library of Estrian for forgotten lore. In these ancient times, an increasing number of agents seek the insights of the Elendil Stone. A company may find themselves assisting the custodian of Elostrian in arbitrating who is and is not worthy of accessing the Palantir. The struggle. Oh, by the way, I did put since I've been building out the sites and things for things going on, I put a new category in the Ravenkeep Discord server. Yes, I know we've got a lot of different categories there, but I put a new category in the Ravenkeep Discord server specifically just for the coffee shop, the online gaming coffee shop, which I'm building out a site for us that we can launch it and talk about it. So you might see that in there. There's nothing there now, but if you are here and you're not part of the Ravenkeep Discord server, let me go ahead and post a link to that right here. That way you can come in. But I did post that because I also just created if anybody's on Facebook, I created a Facebook group for it too, so that we can coordinate game playing in there. Maybe somebody would like to coordinate some One Ring in there. We need more people, though, to know about it. Discord server, Ravenkeep Discord server. Oh, thank you. Stray was already on it. Thank you, Stray. But Charlie says that Free League will make a conversion for the One Ring. Let's see. All right, so we got some, of course, stats. That doesn't make me feel so bad anymore, because I do like this book. This seems like a pretty good regional book to me. And I like its format, too, actually. I was thinking about that yesterday, that it's got the Gathering Storm. It seems to me to be a very useful regional book. Thinking about sections that you might write, having this section be landmarks, background, location, schemes, and trouble. Like, this is like what's going on there that would involve the heroes. I like that. But the Gathering Storm right here, things that are going on in the region and your bad guys, but then also just, your standard stuff about the geography, and I guess you could put other things about history and culture over here. I didn't notice, well, actually, there might be 51. A lot of new things to play. Oh, 31. But maybe that's a little bit of an issue in the One Ring. Oh, yeah, the Men of Eriador. This box offers rules for creating men hailing from the various regions described in the book. Okay, so you do get some stuff about how to create people from this region. Now, I know that's a little bit of an issue with the One Ring, that it doesn't have rules in its current version for all the things that I would want to play. Like, I really want to play a Swan Knight of Dol Amroth. I also want to play a Knight of Rohan. God, this is making me excited. I get so excited. This is one of the reasons why I like the morning grind, because I get excited about games and all the kinds of things that I like. But those things aren't in the current edition of the One Ring yet. So having a regional book that has more stuff in it. So I would guess that a regional book would include the stat packages in the One Ring rules when it's converted. But nonetheless, I like this setup for what's inside this regional book. Good morning, TSL Frontman. Good morning. Good morning. Schemes and troubles. Okay, the Tree of Sorrow. Speaking of Tree of Sorrows, we did Journey to the Tree of Sorrows. The Tree of Sorrow, 5th level or higher. I do not doubt there is some shadow of the great darkness lying here, and bad memories are handed down. So where is the Tree of Sorrow? This is the Tree of Sorrow number 3. Oh, way down here. So Londar is over here. Here is the Tree of Sorrow. Here's the Tree of Sorrows. This is in orange is called the Darklands. So the rumor. This is one of those obscure and forgotten spots in all of Middle-earth. This is one of the most obscure and forgotten spots in all of Middle-earth. It's a primordial forest, older than the Misty Mountains. Only wild men and wilder trees ever dwelt there. Thus, even the wise know little of Iran Vaughn, save that it is a dark and ill-omened name, and the might of Numenor that humbled even Sauron could not pierce the shadows of the trees. Old lore, DC 25. There's a huge evil deep in the woods of Erin Vaughn, worshipped by savage tree folk. They take captives on their raids and bring the prisoners back as tree sacrifices. Anyone who goes missing after a raid is already as good as dead, for no one has ever returned from the dark place of the forest. Background. In the days of Cardolan, a few of the king's rangers did enter the wood, and they mapped parts of the forest. Their records may even be preserved in Rivendell or at the Library of Tharbad. Once there was a single forest from west to east, from the Blue Mountains to the banks of the Anduin. Of it, the Greenwood the Great was but a pale shadow, and Fangorn Forest was just the east end. The westernmost portion of the forest, on the Cape of Iran Vaughn, had a bad reputation even then. It's as though something seeped out of the outside when the world was young, and there was some sourness in the earth the trees drew upon in their roots. It has always been dark beneath the trees of Erin Vorn. The world changed. Men came with axes and fire, and brought an end to the endless forest. The folk who dwelt in the woods retreated as the land cleared, falling back as one thicket, and the next were taken by the axe. There were men in the wood there, the fathers of the tree folk, but there were Ents too, shepherds of the trees, and neither had the strength to stop the tree hunger of the Numenor. By the time Numenor sank and the world changed again, both Ents and men have unwisely taken refuge in the haunted cape. The Tree of Sorrow grows there, the last redoubt of the forest folk. It's a huge tree wrapped with swollen beyond the natural size of its kind. From a distance, it resembles a haunched tree, a black cloak of leaves wrapped around a massive shoulder as protection from the coast sea winds, its face mercifully hidden from sight. The tree seems almost swell as the travelers approach it, a living mountain of entangled greenery. The details shift as the wind rustles the leaves. There's a bundle of bloodless bodies hanging from branches like grisly fruit. You got to have that, of course. There's a face and another staring out of the gnarled trunk. I thought this might be partially inspired at least by Old Man Willow. Here is evil in the wood. So looks like we've got sights in the tree as you go up it. Perhaps caves beneath it. The shrouded islets. I'm sitting here getting more and more excited. Except for, okay, my coffee is stone cold. Let me go warm up my coffee. Just 1 second. Oh, it's time for a Yeti hug break.
Yeti hug break, Yeti hug break. Everybody go hug yo Yeti and show yo Yeti some love.
Okay, there we go. The Shrouded Islets. So now we live upon an island. We live upon an island amid many perils. Rumors. A few months ago, a group of Dunedain was seen taking boats out into the Lake of Evendim, carrying many supplies. No one has heard from them since. Some say that small islands lie in the middle of the lake, concealed by mists blanketing its surface for most of a year. Who knows what treasures an explorer might find there, untouched for centuries. I also like these from the writing perspective, that they're just a few pages long. Like, we've talked a lot about like one-off, like one-shot adventures, things that can be playable in a single setting. It seems like any of these could be playable in a single setting, single session. There's enough here so the game master can sit down, read some of this a little bit before the game, play it, add stuff to it, change things up, but there's enough there that they're not starting from scratch, but also might give them some of their own ideas to play around with during it. And then finish off in a single session. And I like that. I like that. Because you're also not trying to write out from the writing perspective, hey, let me write out the entire like ruins of Undermountain or something, right? Don't do that. Okay. Or you can do that, but I'm just saying that it's not pages, and I would rather have something like this with a variety of different sites with a little bit of information on each one, suitable for a night of adventure, rather than a single book, which is 5,000 rooms of dungeons. We'll have to see how they do Moria, because Moria could be like that. I mean, you could definitely interpret Moria. So it'd be very interesting to see when we get the Moria book. You could interpret Moria clearly as like an Undermountain kind of thing, which is going to have like 5,000 rooms in it. I wish I still had the Decipher Moria. I think I used to, and it must be gone. It must have gotten lost in the Great Purge or been discarded in the Great Purge. Because I think there was things I wanted to reference in that Moria box, because I think they did things well, and that they didn't try to like put out a detailed map of every single room with a key in Moria. But instead they did something, I think they called it like the peril system as you were trying to travel through Moria. And like that's how I would do. I would try to invoke the feel of travel through Moria. I wouldn't try to like be tracking exactly where the party is, like in each individual hall as they're walking by room. I think that would be the wrong way to do it. You could do it that way. Like when you're thinking about something like the ruins of Undermountain and you're trying to, in a D&D dungeon crawl, go through room by room. You could do it that way. But I think there are more, what do you want to call it? Artistic or thematic ways to do it. We'll just have to see what direction they go. I mean, other people will like different things, of course. But we will just see. What do you think about that? The Shrouded Islets. Okay, so the islets of the old lore DC 20, the islets of Lake Evendim were inhabited by the men of Arnor in the heyday of Enuminus. They built lake houses there, a comfortable retreat from the bustle of the city. Then, from all records, it seems that news of those who settled on the lake stopped reaching Enuminus years before the city was abandoned. So the Shrouded Islets. 4. Oh, right here. Okay, so this is on, yes, the lake right here. So we are now here. The Shire again being here, Hobbiton being there. So this is only a few hexes north of Hobbiton. The Shrouded Islets are the subject of several ghost stories told among the rangers of the north. Before the fading of Innuminus, they were a convenient stopping point in the middle of Lake Evendim for noble families to retreat to nature, or fisher folk to repair damaged boats. But the settlement was undone by the coming of a horrible creature called forth by Sauron to assault the folk of Arnor, and the disappearance of the settlers was never explained. When winter first begins to bite, if the company visits the Shrouded Islets in winter, Loremaster should keep in mind the harsher weather conditions of the expedition, for example, applying disadvantage to rolls that may be made harder by the adverse circumstances, or taking into consideration the consequences of being immersed in frigid waters. Last but not least, the Dunedain described in The Last Stand, see below, are found in an even more terrible state on the verge of freezing to death. A DC 10 intelligence medicine check may be required before they can provide information to the company. Tindalin, an elven refuge. Second to third level. Much evil must befall a country before it wholly forgets the elves, if once they dwelt there. And the rumor is, well, let's find out where this is. Tindalin, an elven refuge. 5. Down here. So here are the Barrow Downs. The Old Forest is right up here. The Barrow Downs over here. So Sarn Ford right here with 5, Tindalin. Rumor, near Sarn Ford is a wood that was once inhabited by the elves. Is this place actually in The Lord of the Rings? Or did they decide to make this a place inspired by one of the places in Lord of the Rings? Good coffee this morning. Near Sarn Ford is a wood that was once inhabited by the elves. They loved to carouse around its pond, looking for the reflection of the moon and stars upon its surface. It was a magical place once, but today it's a haunted forest. Nobody sets foot in it anymore, and the elves themselves keep away from it. What is it that's hidden in the lake, that lies in the lake, that hides in the lake that scares them so? It was once inhabited by elves, but today it's haunted. Old Lore DC 20. Northwest of Sarn Ford lies what remains of an elven refuge, protected by a wood in the center of which is a small lake. Its foundation dates back to ancient times, and it's said that it was originally blessed with a guardian spirit. Unfortunately, its original splendor was marred by a terrible battle against the shadow, and since the place has never been the same, in time, it was completely abandoned. So it says, Sarn Ford has always been a strategic place for defense against threats coming from the south, and the Rangers of the North keep it under constant watch. Centuries ago, the elves established one of their refuge in a copse of trees west of the river to enjoy some rest on their way to the Grey Havens. They called it Tindalin, Glinting Lake. Uh-oh, something might be under the lake. The Queen's Hall. Kings of little kingdoms fought together, and the young sun shone like fire on their red metal of their new and greedy swords. Queen's Hall. 6. Oh, way down here in Londier. So the Queen's Hall, that might have been on our map over here. Let's see, is it over here? No, I don't see it. So what is this about rumor? Haven't you heard? There's a queen in Londar now. Some say she came on a golden ship from the west, and others say she slew a dragon, mind you, and took her golden crown from his hoard, and gave all the rest of the treasure to her knights. She's got knights too, you know, brave warriors, all in shining armor, out riding on the road, questing and thwarting evil, I hear. She's called for heroes to come to her hall, and soon she'll put out all the world to rights. And oh, her hall's all made of silver too, and she drinks from a cup of gold. And yet here it is, the Queen's Hall. DC Lore 15, Old Lore DC 15. Old lore is of little use here. The castle is of recent origin. Research can, of course, reveal the history of Londar, from its origins as a Numenorian haven to its decline as a town of crazed astrologers into its eventual abandonment. So journey events. Follow the river to the sea and you will find Lawn. I wonder if it's supposed to be Dare. Daer. Maybe Lawn Dare. Where the Queen's Hall stands, page 21. Queen Nimue makes no attempt to hide her stronghold. On the contrary, she welcomes travelers and visitors from afar. Thus, the journey is likely to be safe and as uneventful as any trek through the wilds of Menhireth can be. So the wandering knight, the company encounters a knight of Lond Dare, Dame Eshel, one of the number of warriors dispatched by the queen to watch the roads of the new kingdom. Dame Eshel tells exaggerated, fanciful tales of the glory of the queen's hall. She's armed with a new forged sword and is eager to wield it in the service of Lond Dare. But so far, Dame Eshel's most perilous quests have been hunting down lost sheep and directing travelers toward the city. The beggar. A wandering beggar claims to be a sailor from the far south. He says he was knocked overboard by a storm, by strange good fortune, avoiding drowning, is washed up on the shore. Penniless and alone, he begs for alms. However, questioned, he's evasive about his name, his origins, the ship he trailed on. The man was on one of the crew of the black Numenorian vessel, Cathupsagagan. Oh, look, Gandalf the Grey. It said, we got a note on Gandalf here. Let's see what Gandalf says. Gandalf the Grey. The Grey Wizard is an infrequent visitor to Lon Dare. He first arrived soon after the sea serpent began to trouble the town, and there were whispers that he was somehow responsible for the monster's presence. This ill reputation was only enhanced when the wizard entered the Tower of the Stargazers, see page 23. Thunder rolled deep underground, and foul vapors poured from the cracks of the rocks on the north shore of the Firth. The wizard did nothing about the serpent, although some folk in town claimed to have seen the old man talking to young Nimue, and did not return for several months, in which time the serpent was slain and the queen crowned. Gandalf has become the unofficial court wizard at Lon Dare, giving sage advice and performing the occasional act of conjuring. Most notably, when a storm threatened to destroy the fishing fleet, he arrived just in time to quell the winds and light a fiery beacon on the watchtower to guide the ships back to the safety of the Firth. He sometimes brings books for Queen Nimue, and has been known to put knights on the road to complete quests and heroic deeds. So let's read about the Knights of Lon Dare. It says, put all the thoughts of the Knights of Dol Amroth, or the black-clad guard of the citadel, from your mind. The Knights of Lon Dare are nothing like such folk. In garb and manner, they are much like the rest of the grim folk of this desolate land, clad in hides or furs and coarse cloth. They have no harness or polished lances, just old swords and battered wooden shields. They are knights only in spirit. In fancy, they call themselves knights to evoke figures out of stories and legends from the days of kings. But in doing so, they become knights indeed, for their courage is equal to the bravest knights of Gondor or the Mark. So it says, player heroes who catch the eye of Queen Nimue, for example, by performing some extraordinary deed for her and her community, may be asked to join the ranks of the Knights of Lon Dare. A number of suitable heroic deeds are listed under schemes and troubles. A company counting on one or more Knights of Lon Dare among its members can choose the Queen's Hall as a safe haven. Ah, the Fields of Slaughter. Oh, thank you very much for the super sticker, 7xmas7. You've been very generous. Thank you. I'm very glad that you appreciate everything that we've been doing here. I know you're trying to get a bunch of stuff of your own off the ground, like so many different people here around this community. So I'm really very glad to have you here. Thank you, 7xmas7. The Fields of Slaughter. For there was sorrow then too, and a gathering dark, but great valor and great deeds that were not wholly slain. All right, the Fields of Slaughter. 7. Okay, right up here. So this is Fornost over here. This is Anuminous over here, where those islets were. So this is in between Fornost and Anuminous. Rumor. Centuries ago, a terrible battle was fought on the plains of Dead Man's Dyke. They say it was a great victory for the king, but one that came at a grievous cost. The battlefield is haunted to this day, as the land itself cannot forget such terrible sorrows. In recent times, a woman has been seen wandering the plains alone, as one who lost her way. Some say she's a spirit, others think she's an elf, a princess maybe. So, old lore, DC 15. Before the city of Fornost Arain fell, and the kingdom of Arnor was destroyed, the last king of the north sent messengers south with a desperate plea for assistance. Eonir, prince of Gondor, answered the call, and a great army landed in the Elven Havens. They arrived too late to save Arnor, but they met the Witch King of Angmar on the plains of west of Fornost and defeated him. So the Battle of Fornost. A recounting of the events that occurred during the Battle of Fornost is presented here with references to the involvement of Nalian and Dreameth. Player heroes researching the battle in Rivendell or the Grey Havens may obtain such details as presented below. Daybreak. A host of men from Gondor and elves from Lindon, including Nalian, descended from the hills of Evendim and advanced in the direction of Fornost Arain. The Witch King, forewarned of the Alliance's approach, chose to counterattack rather than wait. He unleashes the first wave of his forces, Hillmen of Rudour, who are not deterred by fighting under the light of the sun. So the Witch King uses the men of Rudour. The morning. The first clash occurs at the westernmost edge of the plain, the Western Plain, with the fury of Hillmen stopped by the martial discipline of their opposition. Recognizing the need for reinforcements and taking advantage of a sky obscured by clouds, the Witch King whips his great armies of orcs forward into battle. The advance of orc reinforcements is slowed by a volley of arrows loosed by ranks of bowmen, including a small unit of hobbit archers, positioned on a hill north of the Brandywine River and overlooking the main field, the Blossom Mound. When the orcs join the fray, the hillmen are already retreating, leaving more than half their number on the ground as they flee the battlefield. Late morning. Clouds scattered by wind from the west. The sky clears and the sun appears, sapping the strength of the orcs of Angmar. The valor of the assembled host of the west proves too much for them, and many start to flee. A thick mist rises suddenly, maybe conjured by the Witch King, covering the orcs' retreat and giving the forces of Angmar a chance to regroup. Midday, a great host of horsemen fall on the retreating orcs. They descend from the north, having passed around the hills of Evendim to catch the enemy by surprise, the northern slope. The host is composed of elves of Lindon, including Dreameth, as well as tall riders of Wildlands, staunch allies of Gondor. The orderly retreat of the troops of Angmar turns into a rout, and the Witch King flees north with all the troops he can, heading toward his fortress of Carndum. The cavalry of the Alliance engages in pursuit, led by Prince Eonor of Gondor. By the afternoon, the bodyguard of the Witch King, a company of chosen warriors of Angmar, stops to delay the pursuers at the sheltered fields. Fields have been fierce and empowered by sorcerous means. The riders kill many among the elves and men of Gondor before they are themselves killed. Dreameth is among the fallen. Late afternoon. Despite the sacrifice of his bodyguard, the army of the Witch King is finally overtaken by his pursuers when another host coming from Rivendell intercepts it. The army of Angmar is defeated. Its forces is so utterly annihilated that not a man nor orc of that realm remained west of the mountain. Before the battle is over, the Witch King singles out Eonor of Gondor in the fighting, but the prince's steed carries him away from the Nazgul's terrifying presence. Glorfindel, the leader of the host of Rivendell, confronts the Witch King and banishes the wraith from the north. The Elf Lord discourages Eonor from pursuing the Witch King, prophesying, "Not by the hand of man will he fall." So here we have the Blossom Mound, the ruins of Fornost. The Flowers of Remembrance. Hobbit player heroes who take a moment to ascend the mound and contemplate their culture's small but profound contribution to the fight against the shadow may immediately remove 1 point of shadow. Weathertop. But long before in the days of the North Kingdom, they built a great watchtower on Weathertop. Amon Sul, they called it. So I think we all know where Weathertop is. It's right here. On here. So Bree, Weathertop, Last Bridge, Rivendell. Rumor. 4 or 5 days east of Bree, you'll come to a line of hills. The southernmost one, closest to the road, is called Weathertop. It's the tallest of the Weather Hills, and from its summit a traveler or a bandit might see for miles out around the land and spy on comings and goings on the road. Rogues and rangers use it as a lookout post, and did so other folks in days of old. You'll see ruins there, tumbled walls and dikes. Far back in the days of the king, there was a great watchtower there, it is said, where he has kept all his jewels. Nothing is there now, of course, no jewels, only ruins, and haunted ones too, it is said. There's nothing up there worth taking. But you'll mark it on the road all the same, a great hill with a broken tower, and you'll feel like someone's watching you. If you're lucky, it will be nothing more than a ghost. So, Old Lore DC 15. When Elendil the Tall came out of the sea, he built the watchtower of Aman-Sul near the heart of his new kingdom. From this tower, a sentry could see a very great distance, and the king could see further still. It is said that from the summit of Aman-Sul, Elendil could see the fastness of Isengard, or the sunlight glittering on the Mount Mendulian. It was here at this fortress that Elendil awaited the coming of Gil-galad in the War of the Last Alliance. In later years, when the North Kingdom was divided, possession of the Weather Hills and the fortress at Weathertop was disputed by the kings of Cardolan and Rudour. Many wars were fought between the two lands for control of Aman-Sul, and around the land of the Weather Hills was dotted with forts and secret paths and hides where sentries could watch for enemies. All that availed them very little in the end. A host came out of Angmar and laid siege to the hills. Aman-Sul was razed and its tower thrown down, although its chief treasures are said to have been taken back to the King's Hall in Fornost. Now Weathertop is but a ruin, abandoned to the birds and beasts. So what do you get to do here? Other than being a classic place that you would want the heroes to encounter if they're in the area. Okay, schemes and troubles. So out of the wild, Weathertop is a significant landmark known by all travelers in Eriador. If the company becomes lost or separated, the peak is the obvious rallying point. This is especially true in the fogs and rainstorms that sometimes assail travelers in these parts. Weathertop rises high above the mists and can be seen from a great distance. Okay, alarms. Weathertop commands a view of the country all around. When the foes come out of Angmar in days of old, it was sentries at Weathertop who spotted the approach. When orcs came out of their warrens in the misty mountains to lay waste to Eriador, rangers watched them from Weathertop. Now, as the orcs grow in number once more and the shadow grows to the east, rangers once again must maintain a watch from Weathertop. If the sentries on Weathertop did see an invading orc or wolf pack in some other peril, then the alarm would have to be raised, and the task might be entrusted to any traveler as the ranger happens to encounter on the road. There are very few rangers after all, and Eriador is wide. Player heroes might be sent to race west to Bree or even east to Rivendell, fighting to stay ahead of any wolves or outriders sent by attacking foes. If the company wishes to make contact with one of the ill-favored types who call themselves rangers, they should make for Weathertop. There is no place in the north save the secret fastness of Rivendell and the Angle, where the traveler is more likely to encounter one of the Dunedain. The rangers are reserved folk, sharing little of themselves and their ways. There are no more stalwart companions on the road, but they do not trust easily, and one must be friends with a ranger for 20 years. And one may be friends with a ranger for 20 years and still not know his real name. The Ranger Cache. The Rangers hide supplies like firewood and traveling gear in hidden caches on Weathertop, and they sometimes hide other things too. Messages, for example, or maps or treasures recovered from ancient tombs and ruined cities, or tokens taken from the corpse of fallen foes. An innocent traveler who happens to cross its cache might be drawn into the intrigues of the Rangers, despite their struggle against the enemy. Desperate. Drawn into their desperate struggle against the enemy. Let's see. How have we been going here? What have we got left in this book? A few. And we still haven't looked at this Tales from Eriador yet. Let's do one more. And then it looks like we'll have to do a day 3 on this. We'll see the rest of this, and then we'll check out the Tales from Eriador after that. Let's see. So the Hill of the Sleeper. Hill of the Sleeper. Number 9. Nope. 5, 9, down here. Oh, Swanfleet. That's that marsh. So this is Tharbad right here. And then we have this marsh called Swanfleet right here. And then in this, we have the Hill of the Sleeper. Tombs more splendid than the houses of the living, it says. Rumor. Deep within the Swanfleet marches, there is a secret place, a sunken place, mostly lost beneath the mud. It is not a house, for no one dwells there, but neither is it a tomb. For the one who lies there is not dead. Oh, that's pretty cool. It is not a house, for no one dwells there, but neither is it a tomb, for the one who lies there is not dead. For the depths of the cave lies an elf maiden on a stone bier, her long golden hair spilling over the edge like a waterfall of light. She lies there, unmoving and silent, still as a statue, but if you listen closely, you may hear faint sounds of breathing. Her beauty is breathtaking. This is the fairest of the fair folk, marred only by a wound in her ankle, where 2 fang punctures and corrupted skin tells where a serpent struck her. Well, this is cool. I know, Robert. That's why I wanted to keep reading. I was like, I got to do one more of these because I'm just enjoying it so much. This is Robert says this is a pretty well-written, great campaign setting, naturally standing on the shoulders of giants. I completely agree. I am impressed with what they've put together here, and this goes to show you. Now, of course, we tend to on this channel like Free League. They seem to do really great work, but occasionally, and it really stands out, I think, in today's age, when you've got somebody who is doing something that is, and they really care. It seems like Free League in general cares about the products that it puts out in general, but it also seems like the people that they assemble. So Gareth, maybe we could talk to him on Table Talk. Gareth Heron, with additional writers. It seems like the people they put together to create this really cared about Middle Earth too. Long has she slumbered, encased in imperishable crystal. The people of Swanfleet hold her to be a spirit or a goddess, and believe she watches over them in her dreams. To guard the maiden, they have added to the palace's defenses, permitting dangerous creatures to dwell there, so that only wise women of Mendukant can enter the palace safely. Wow, 7x7 just sent a $49.99 super chat. Thank you, 7. He says, who agrees? Heath needs to not only play Skyrim, but do it on live stream. As I don't think I have not ever played it. We used to do, well, you know this, because I used to do some gaming streams, but it's not something that I can do, do as a whole nother show. I used to do it as a whole nother type of show when I was trying to figure out what kinds of things I wanted to do. I don't even know. No, I've never played Skyrim. But maybe I could do it on the morning grind. Occasionally, I've done just a stream. On the morning grind when I was like, all right, what do I do? And needed a break and did a video game on the stream. I haven't done that in a while. Can you play it? Skyrim. It is not possible. See, Skyrim on Mac. Is that something that I could just play direct? This says that it was not directly created for... I'm on a Mac. How do you play Skyrim on an Apple computer? Oh, that's from a long time ago. Does anybody know if you can play that on a Mac? Or something, or some kind of release. Yeah, we played Zelda before. Yeah, we played Zelda on a dedicated. What did I call that? Plugged in. Oh, plugged in. Played Zelda and Vexanadu. And a few other things. I enjoyed actually going back to the original NES and playing some of those games. I would need, in order to play Skyrim, because I know nothing about it. In order to do something like that, I would have to be able to play it on Mac in order to be able to stream it. Because I don't have any type of, of course, it's probably more complicated to stream from consoles too, but I don't have any type of console. And all I do is work on a Mac. But if I could figure out some way to get it done, I would at least investigate. I'll investigate 7x7 because you're right. I hear people talk about Skyrim all the time, but never played it. Yes, and the Hero Quest BTT was fun. I think we need to figure out how to build out the One Ring in that tabletop simulator. Sounds like something that could be done. Okay, so the Hill of the Sleeper. Old lore, DC 25. The tale of Nething is mostly lost to even masters of lore. So I suppose it's Nething is the one who is sleeping there. The tale of Nethig is mostly lost to masters of lore. Her sad tale transpired in the years just before the fall of Eregion. Most elves were slain in those terrible wars, and Nethig is often accounted among the victims of Sauron's armies, though not Sauron's treachery. Lore may recall strange tales of a haunted hill in the depths of Swanfleet, where a river maiden slumbers. Few knew where the palace lies, for it is sunk beneath the mud or shrouded in thick vegetation. Once a paved pathway led from the whispering halls of Celebrimbor to the palace, to the doors of the palace, but this road was destroyed long ago. Perhaps the wise woman of Mendicant recalls something of this place. While Eregion is long since destroyed, they may yet survive records in Moria of the building of this palace, for it was done by the dwarven masons of that city. So it says, journey events. Finding the palace is a challenge. Only the wise women of Medjugorje know exactly where the palace lies, and they do not share the secret with outsiders. Without a guide, the only way to find the palace is to search the marsh. 3 clues point to the location of the Palace of the Sleeper. First, the remnants of the Eregion Road. The paving stones are mostly lost beneath the mud, but in places, ancient elven statues survive, depicting watchful guardians. Second, Nethig loved the swans and birds of this marsh, so the palace looks out over a wide pool, mirror still, where the birds gather. Third, that stretch of the marsh is plagued with curious breed of serpents, who are found nowhere else in Middle-earth. The marsh snakes are beautiful to look at, with many-hued scales that glimmer in the sunlight, but they are vicious and aggressive, and their poison is exceedingly potent. Once the general region of the palace is found, the building must be located. Much of the palace is sunk into the swamp, leaving only the spires still visible at ground level. The grand entrance is lost in the marsh, but there are other ways in. An explorer can descend via one of the surviving spires and enter the palace below. Alternatively, the grand balcony, location 14, is still above ground, but it's so hidden by weeds and tree roots, it's extremely hard to find. So this is like the situation we've got here. The Ghost Bird Spear. According to the tales, the ghost bird is a marsh wight or monster that has haunted Swanfleet for as long as anyone can remember, slaying outsiders and the unworthy with his terrible spear, then vanishing back into the mists. No weapon can harm the ghost bird, and no foe can catch him. In reality, the ghost bird is a role handed from one warrior of the Swanfleeters to the next. To become ghost bird, the prospective candidate must abandon all claims of kinship and family and swear to defend the marsh from outsiders. Then they may take the mantle of the regalia, the bone mask, the mantle and the regalia, the bone mask, the cloak, the wooden stilts that allow the ghost bird to move swiftly through the marsh, and a magic spear of elven make. So it says the ghost bird spear. The weapon wielded by the ghost bird is a great spear of elven craftsmanship, with the foe slaying, superior fell, and superior keen enchantment rewards. In addition, the weapon has the finesse property. The bane it is enchanted with does not provide its benefits against a creature type. Instead, its special virtues are only effective against creatures within the Hill of the Sleeper. Yes, you just need to experience it. It was the closest video game to D&D. Well, I've heard that. Lou told me that Skyrim was basically a video game trying to do D&D. And that then with what was the one with the Against the Giants? Was it Against the Giants? 5th edition Giant module? D&D. Was it called Against the? I guess it is. No, Against the Giants. Storm King's Thunder. Yeah, Against the Giants was the older one. Storm King's Thunder, which I played quite a bit in. I heard that Storm King's Thunder was D&D trying to do Skyrim. Elven medicine. Wounds treated in the Chamber of Healing never become infected. Player heroes make intelligence medicine checks here to gain advantage. Players making intelligence medicine checks here gain advantage. Okay, Mount Graham. Mount Graham's going to be cool. I'm going to save that one for tomorrow. And we'll take a look at some of the stuff in the other book as well. All right, man. Okay, so I'm going to get back to trying to make up some websites for us about things that are going on. And Brianna, I wonder if Brianna has contacted me. Brianna was supposed to work with me this afternoon as well. Or this, even maybe starting this morning. I haven't seen her yet. Okay, well, thank you so much, especially 7xmas7. I really appreciate your generosity. I will look into Skyrim and see if I can see what the best way is for me to play this. Or who knows? Maybe maybe a friend of mine has the right console or whatever. All right, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Please do like and subscribe if you are just now finding us. Please like the stream. I will see everybody tomorrow. I guess we will continue with this tomorrow, but then maybe on Monday, then we go over to Shadow Dark. I'm interested to see how the Shadow Dark books actually came out. Thank you, Robert. Everybody, go forth, be creative, be constructive, be productive, and I will see you tomorrow.